me say something that might genuinely surprise you. Your glasses could be aging you more than your wrinkles ever could. And the part that really gets me, it has absolutely nothing to do with how old you are. It has everything to do with shape, color, and a few tiny design details that most women over 50 are never told about. Today, we fix that. Welcome to Ageless Elegance After 50, where we believe that every single detail of how you present yourself to the world is a choice, and choices can always be upgraded. Now, I want to ask you something honest before we go any further. Have you ever put on a pair of glasses and immediately felt somehow heavier, more tired, less like yourself? Like something about your face was being pulled in the wrong direction? That is not your imagination, and it is not your face. It is your frames. The wrong glasses can drag your features downward, deepen shadows, and make a beautiful, vibrant, mature face look far more tired than it truly is. And here is what I need you to hear. This is not about chasing youth. This is not about pretending to be younger than you are or erasing the life your face has lived. This is about choosing frames that work with your face the same way we choose clothing that fits well, colors that flatter our skin, and accessories that enhance rather than overwhelm. Because aging is not the problem. The wrong frames are. Here is something most people never realize. As we get older, our faces naturally and beautifully change. We lose a little volume in the cheeks, the brows soften slightly, the jaw becomes less sharply defined. And all of that is completely normal. But what is extraordinary is that eyewear designers actually study these changes. Some frames are specifically created to lift, brighten, and open mature features. And others, without any intention at all, do exactly the opposite. Today, I am showing you 5 frame styles that instantly make you look fresher, more awake, and more radiantly alive at 50, 60, 70, and beyond. Not by hiding anything, but by working beautifully with the face you have right now. Stay with me until frame 5, because that one is the most unexpected, and it is the one that most women have been completely avoiding for no good reason at all. And before we dive in, I want to hear from you. What kind of frames are you currently wearing? And do you love them? Drop your answer in the comments right now, because your experience might just help another woman watching this today.
Frame 1. The modern lifted cat eye. Now, before anyone pictures those dramatic, sharply winged frames from old Hollywood photographs, stop. That is not what I am talking about. What I am describing is something far more wearable, far more elegant, and far more quietly powerful. The modern, subtle, lifted cat eye. Here is the science of why it works so beautifully on mature faces. As we get older, most of the natural changes we notice around our eyes move in a downward direction. The outer corners of the eyes soften. The cheeks lose a little of their earlier fullness. And even women who are genuinely well-rested can appear tired simply because of these completely natural facial shifts. When you add a straight, flat, or heavy frame to a face experiencing these changes, the frame unintentionally follows that same downward movement. It highlights the very things you want to soften. But the lifted cat eye does something completely different. That gentle upward angle at the outer corners of the frame works like a tiny architectural lift for your entire face. Not dramatic, not exaggerated, just enough of an upward sweep to visually pull the eyes upward, brighten the upper cheeks, and create a more open, more refreshed, more awake expression. It is like wearing a gentle, permanent smile that you did not have to arrange. And here is something genuinely fascinating. People subconsciously read upward lines as energy, optimism, and alertness. That small lift at the outer temple does not just change how you look, it changes how every single person you meet perceives your mood and your vitality before you say a single word. For mature faces specifically, the best versions of this frame have a gentle, refined sweep, rather than a sharp, dramatic wing. Look for medium or slightly thin rims that do not overpower your features. Rounded, softer edges, rather than anything too angular. And colors in the warm family. Champagne, rose gold, soft tortoiseshell. Warm, neutral tones that complement, rather than compete with your natural coloring. The modern lifted cat eye does not announce itself loudly. It simply makes everyone wonder why you look so refreshed and so awake.
Frame 2. The soft rectangle with rounded corners. Now, this might sound like the most straightforward, most unremarkable frame description you have ever heard. A rectangle. But stay with me, because the details here are everything. And the difference between a rectangle that ages you and a rectangle that elevates you is smaller and more specific than you might think. Many women over 50 are wearing rectangular frames, but most of them are wearing the wrong rectangular frames. Frames that are too wide, too heavy in the brow line, too sharply cornered, or too dark. And the result is a frame that adds weight to the face visually, creates harsh lines against softening features, and draws the eye downward rather than upward. The soft rectangle with rounded corners is an entirely different story. This frame gives you the clean, modern, polished structure of a rectangle, while the gently rounded corners prevent any harsh angles from sitting against a mature complexion. The result is a frame that looks sophisticated and deliberate without ever looking severe or heavy. For mature faces, the proportions matter enormously. You want a frame that is in balance with the width of your face, not wider, not dramatically narrower. The depth of the frame from top to bottom should be moderate. Too deep and the frame dominates the face, too shallow and it looks pinched and fragile. For color, this is where you have genuine freedom. A soft rectangle in a warm tortoiseshell looks rich and approachable. In a deep burgundy, it looks quietly striking. In a transparent blush or champagne tone, it looks modern and completely current. And in a classic warm black, it looks polished and authoritative. The soft rounded rectangle is the frame equivalent of a beautifully tailored blazer, structured enough to look intentional, soft enough to feel completely natural on your face.
Frame 3, the transparent or light-tinted frame. And this is where I tend to lose some women initially, and then win them back completely once they try it. Transparent frames, clear frames, barely there frames, whatever you want to call them. These are one of the most sophisticated and genuinely flattering frame choices a woman over 50 can make, and they are also one of the most consistently underestimated. Here is the principle behind why they work so beautifully. A heavy, dark, opaque frame on a mature face creates a strong visual boundary right across the middle of the face. It divides the face into sections. It draws attention to itself rather than to the eyes behind it. And on a face where features have naturally softened, that strong horizontal line can feel like it is competing with your face rather than complementing it. A transparent or very lightly tinted frame does something completely different. It allows the face to read as one continuous, uninterrupted whole. The eye of the observer travels freely across your features without stopping at a heavy frame. Your eyes become the focal point rather than your glasses, and that is exactly where the attention belongs. Now, transparent does not mean invisible or boring. The frame shape still matters enormously. A transparent lifted cat eye, a clear soft rectangle, a barely there round frame. The shape is doing the architectural work, while the transparency ensures that your face, your eyes, and your natural beauty remain the undisputed star of the entire look. For women with silver or white hair, transparent frames create a particularly beautiful harmony. The lightness of the frame echoes the lightness of the hair without competing with it. And for women with warm skin tones, a lightly warm-tinted transparent frame in a soft blush or champagne tone adds a flattering warmth that feels completely natural and quietly luminous. Transparent frames are not boring. They are the most elegant form of confidence. They say, I have nothing to hide and everything worth showing. Frame 4, the oversized soft round. Now, before anyone says that oversized sounds too bold or too young or too dramatic, I want to gently push back on all three of those ideas simultaneously. The oversized soft round frame, when chosen correctly for a mature face, is one of the most effortlessly chic, most quietly glamorous, and most genuinely flattering frame styles available. And the women I have seen transformed by this frame are almost always the ones who were most reluctant to try it. Here is why it works. Round frames counterbalance angles. If your face has strong cheekbones, a defined jaw, or angular features that have become more prominent as facial volume has naturally shifted, a soft round frame creates a beautiful visual counterbalance. The roundness of the frame softens the overall impression without making anything look overdone or theatrical. And oversized, in the right proportion, does something extraordinary for the mature face. A frame that is generous in size creates a larger lens area that visually opens and expands the eye zone of the face. It makes the eyes appear larger and more vivid. It draws attention upward toward the most expressive, most beautiful part of any face. And it creates the kind of effortless, intellectual glamour that is deeply associated with the most stylish, most self-assured women in any room. The key is proportion. The frame should be generous, but not cartoonishly large. It should feel like a bold, deliberate choice, rather than an accident. Look for frames in warm tones. A rich tortoise shell in oversized round is possibly one of the most universally flattering combinations for women over 50 of any skin tone. A deep, warm burgundy round frame. A soft, transparent, oversized round. All of these are beautiful, wearable, and genuinely elegant options. Pair an oversized soft round frame with simple, clean, uncluttered outfits, and let the glasses do what they do best. Be the most beautiful, most interesting accessory in the entire look.
Frame 5,
the colored or two-tone frame. And here it is, the one most women have been walking past in every optical boutique they have visited for the last several years without ever once trying it on, the colored or two-tone frame. And I understand the hesitation. After decades of being steered towards safe, neutral, tortoiseshell, black, or dark brown frames, the idea of color in eyewear can feel like a step too far, too much, too bold, too noticeable. But here is my honest, completely unwavering opinion. Color in your frames after 50 is not too much. It is exactly enough. And here is why. As our hair turns silver and our natural coloring shifts, many women find that their previous go-to frame colors no longer do what they once did. That warm, dark brown that looked so rich against darker hair can now look heavy and disconnected against silver. That black frame that once looked polished can now read as harsh against a more refined, softer complexion. Color in frames solves this beautifully. A frame in deep teal, warm terracotta, soft sage, rich plum, or a beautiful two-tone combination of warm and cool does something that neutral frames simply cannot. It adds a deliberate, intentional point of personality right at the center of your face. It creates visual interest at exactly the point where the observer's eye naturally travels first. And it signals clearly and unmistakably that the woman wearing these frames is not trying to blend in. She is choosing to be seen. Two-tone frames are particularly beautiful for mature faces. A frame that is one color on the outside and a lighter, warmer tone on the inside creates a subtle glow effect near the skin that is genuinely flattering and completely unexpected. For color choices, think about the 5 colors we discussed in our color video. A frame in deep terracotta near a warm skin tone. A frame in periwinkle that mirrors and intensifies the blue and silver hair. A frame in soft sage that harmonizes beautifully with gray and silver tones. These are not accidents. They are the most intentional, most sophisticated color choices a woman over 50 can make for her eyewear. A colored frame does not shout for attention. It earns it, quietly, deliberately, and absolutely beautifully.
And there they are, 5 frames that work with your face rather than against it. The modern lifted cat eye that gives the face a gentle architectural upward sweep. The soft rectangle with rounded corners that provides clean, modern structure without severity. The transparent or lightly tinted frame that lets your face be the undisputed focal point. The oversized soft round that creates effortless glamour and opens the eye zone. And the colored or two-tone frame that places a deliberate, beautiful point of personality right at the heart of your face. Here is what I want you to remember above everything else today. Your glasses are not a medical accessory that you simply tolerate. They are one of the most powerful style tools you own. They sit at the very center of your face. They are often the first thing a person notices when they look at you, and they have the ability to either lift everything about your appearance or quietly and consistently work against it. You deserve frames that are working for you every single day. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 frames are you most excited to try? And here is today's conversation starter for the comments. Do you think most women over 50 play it far too safe with their eyewear choices? Or do you think classic and understated is always the more elegant option? I have a very strong opinion on this one, but I want to hear yours first. Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. If this video gave you something valuable today, please give it a like. It truly helps this channel reach more incredible women who deserve to feel this confident and this seen. And if you are not yet part of our community here at Ageless Elegance After 50, subscribe right now. Every single video we make is a love letter to women who refuse to disappear. I will see you in the next one, gorgeous. Stay lifted, stay luminous, and above everything else, stay ageless.